All right, here we are again. I think I'm focused in okay. And what we're going to do, the first thing is we're going to add the 4 eggs. Nice fresh chicken eggs. We're using 4. We have about 3 pounds of ground meat here. It should make roughly 24 to 36 meatballs, depending on how big you like them. I don't like the little tiny ones, so I make them a little bigger than that. Give my hands a quick rinse off. I didn't really want to get the egg all over everything. And again, we're using the Parmesan Romano, helps to bind it together. And that looks to me like about, maybe 3/4 of a cup. But I'm going to use it all. I'll just stick it all in there. I love the Parmesan and the Romano. I'm actually going to save the plastic container, take the label off, and use it for other things. So recycling the plastic, that's a good thing. I'm going to take some of my Italian seasoning, and we're going to give that a good shake in there. I already gave you the specifics on that. And we're going to take some of our minced garlic. You can't be Italian without loving garlic. And we're going to put 1. And we're going to put 2. Yep. Done with that one. And we're going to take some of our parsley, because parsley is so healthy for you. And we're going to stick that in there, give them a nice shot. That's about a whole tablespoon. And we're going to take some cilantro, but we don't want to overdo the cilantro. It's kind of one of those heavier flavorings, but I do want to put some in there. I like the benefits. And I'm going to put a shake or 2 of the turmeric. If you look on my website on Facebook, you'll see I've listed all of these ingredients and why we do them like we do them. And I'm also going to take my coconut flour. And I'm actually going to add some low mozzarella to this as well. The Romano and the Parmesan will give it that nice flavor, but I also want to put about maybe half a cup of this mozzarella in there. It'll help bind it together. I'd almost use this exact same recipe if I was making meatloaf, except for I wouldn't use quite as much of the Romano in there. So we have those. You want to moisten up your hands a little bit. And I'll show you what I do in here. I just start grabbing it and mixing it in there. And as the egg starts to go around, your hands get wet and everything. It's, you're really working it in there, you know. This is kind of a variation of the layering of the flavoring. And what I just keep doing is spinning the bowl. And I just keep layering it in on itself. And you'll see it'll start to, the coarse grind of the meat will become much smoother. And we haven't even added the sauce or the coconut flour. We'll add some sauce in there in a second. I want to work this for a moment. I have a nice big bowl for this, and you turn it and keep going into the center of it. That's how you do this, and it's already feeling a little bit on the drier side. You can actually feel it getting tougher. You think I was making bread dough, which one of my future videos may very well have that, making some bread dough. All right, that's pretty good. Gonna give a rinse off my hands real fast here. Another paper towel. And you rinse. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of this sauce here. This is gluten-free. This is all gluten-free. And don't be afraid to add, maybe a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of sauce in there. And again, you go back to working it. And you can see it moistened right back up again. And this is all gluten-free. This actually might be keto friendly with the additional cheese. I think we're going to actually add a little more of the sauce because I want to get that coconut flour in there. We used about half that jar, so we're going to add about half more. Stick him right there and go at it again. And as I said, you'll see the coarseness of the meat grind. It'll become smoother as you work the dough. And I just keep spinning the bowl and working it to the center. My oven is already preheating and I have everything laid out. I told you that's before. That's the key, is having everything laid out so you know what you're doing. Okay, one more rinse on there. I don't like to have Skippy all over me. And we're going to add the 2 teaspoons roughly of the coconut flour. Now that's probably 2 right there. But I'm going to add another one. Okay, and that'll do that for the flour. And I keep my open coconut flour in the refrigerator. Some people put it in the freezer, but I use it, so I'm going to put it. I just put it back in the refrigerator to keep. It's in a nice Ziploc bag. And I want to say hi to all my YouTube fam. Gina, how you doing down there in Laguna Beach? Where it's nice and sunny. Out here it's already just steady snowing. And I'm back in the kitchen. Give a shout out to Steven down there in San Diego, California. Shout out to all my Pittsburgh fans. A lot of things happening in Pittsburgh. Mayor Peduto, City Council, trying to do what they're doing. Alright, you can see the change in the texture right there. What I do is I just pinch it out. I pinch it out and roll it up. Give it a shape and set it in the pan. And I'm going to do that all the way through until these are done. I'll roll up a couple more. Excuse my back, folks. We'll stick him right there. I don't know whether you can see him or not. So we usually can get 12 in each. About 12 of that size. Because they're going to shrink down when they cook. But you know, I don't like the little meatballs. I like, you know, a fair-sized meatball. When I put 2 of them on a plate and throw some sauce on them, I want to know I have a meatball. Alright, just give them a roll. Position them. You can see when I pulled that one off, it was almost like, you know, it's sticking together. You can see how the consistency there. And I have my Vincenzo shirt on. I don't know whether you can see that or not. The black ones came. The pink ones finally came too. I'm going to have my lovely wife Jay model one of those. I have some matching hats that are going to come for each one of them. And I also have some aprons, but they're not done yet. They're going to say, in the kitchen, fresh is always best. You are what you eat. Fresh is always best. And they're black, and they'll be available on the business page in the near future. And I'm just continuing to roll these here. again over the sink. That way you can work on it. I'm so pleased that my cutting board fits very nicely in the sink. I couldn't have ordered one better than that. We'll have more upcoming videos. Remember to like and subscribe. Don't be afraid. It looks like we're going to get 12 in that pan and we'll get 12 in the other pan. Like I said, I make them about this, not quite the size of a tennis ball, but pretty close to that because they do shrink down. And you put 2 or 3 of them on a plate and they're good to go. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's the size right there. That's a lasagna pan, so I've got 12 in there. And I'll cover these again and I'll cook them for 350 degrees, 40 minutes. I'll drain all the grease off, and don't drain it into your sink. It'll just clog up your pipes. Always use one of these jars that you've saved from other things that you have. It's another way to recycle. If you're doing anything for the birds, what you can do is you can actually mix that with bird seed and make your own suet out of it. You know, put it in just a little container, put it in the fridge, it'll harden up. It's loaded with fat. Put some bird seed in it, some sunflower seeds. And you can feed the birds from that too, so there's no waste. Just one more thing to think about. Alrighty, this is Gardening with Vincenzo. We're going to pop these in the oven. 40 minutes. Pretty uniform size. That's pretty standard of what I do. Remember, Gardening with Vincenzo. We can save this planet 1 yard at a time, beginning with your own. You are what you eat, for sure you are, and fresh is always best. Again, this is Gardening with Vincenzo in the kitchen again.